You're huddled in a dark alleyway surrounded by rotting trash. The flame on your tail flickers weakly, dancing on the edge of extinction. And you know all too well, if that fire dies, you die with it. You are a Charizard. They used to scream your name in packed stadiums. The grandstands would shake to their foundations as you tore through your opponents with your razor-sharp claws. But now you're trapped in a foul-smelling back alley, waiting to fade away alongside the final desperate sparks of your tail. Your wings are tattered and torn. Your joints are stiff and aching. You've grown old. You lost your market value. To your trainer, you aren't a champion anymore. You're just an unwanted burden, and that's exactly why he abandoned you. One night, he made you get out of his car, hit the gas, and drove away without a single backward glance. Without a Pokeball, without an official ID, you are absolutely nothing in this world. You remember that bright, sterile Pokémon Center you just walked past? Inside, Nurse Joy looked at you with pity from behind the glass, but she didn't open the door. The rules are absolute. Pokémon Centers only provide free treatment to Pokémon with an official trainer and a chipped ID. If you don't have a trainer, you don't exist legally. You're a fugitive. If Officer Jenny catches you on these streets, they won't take you to one of those luxury hospitals. You'll be dragged straight to government laboratories. They'll run brutal experiments on you. Or maybe it'll just be a syringe filled with a few colorless chemical compounds. And just like that, everything ends. But you want to live, and there is one small glimmer of hope. A counterfeit trainer passport sold in the criminal underworld. A professional imitation, complete with a digital chip and a government-approved look. This passport is your golden ticket to stay alive. Your only ticket. The price? $80,000. An impossible, unthinkable fortune for an abandoned, runaway dragon. Until that black van with heavily tinted windows pulls up to the curb. A man in a sharp suit steps out. His gaze is as cold as a slaughterhouse butcher's. He stares at you the way someone looks at an industrial machine. He doesn't examine your teeth. He doesn't check your wings. His eyes are locked entirely on the flame flickering at the tip of your tail. Even though he hasn't uttered a single word, you're certain he knows exactly who you are. He flings a thick, bloody slab of beef onto the pavement in front of you. Eat, he commands. You know this isn't charity, but you don't care. You haven't eaten in days. You swallow the meat in a single desperate gulp. Then the man pulls a thick wad of cash from one pocket and a solid steel sphere from the other. He tosses the money to your left and drops the steel to your right. In that same dead, emotionless voice, he says, "Melt it." The torrent of fire erupting from your jaws hits 2,000 degrees. Exactly 3 seconds later, the solid steel sphere liquefies into a glowing puddle. Seeing the metal melt, Blue, as he's known in the Cartel, shows a flicker of expression for the very first time. "We need a cleaner," he says. "A cleaner who doesn't ask questions, someone who only cares about the job and the money." To you, this isn't a career choice. It's a single brutal question. Do you want to live? You have no other choice. You climb into the back of the dark van. As the heavy doors slam shut, you officially become the hottest secret in a ruthless criminal empire. Your new life begins 3 floors beneath a meat processing plant in a damp, suffocating basement. The air is heavy with a foul, sickening stench. In front of you stands a massive stainless steel incinerator cabin. Inside are heavy piles wrapped tightly in thick blue plastic bags. It doesn't take you long to realize what's inside. The source of that horrific smell. The bodies of people who crossed the cartel, people who didn't pay their debts, or people who simply knew too much. Blue whispers from right behind you. Not a single fragment of bone is left behind. You know that melting a human body is as effortless for you as walking, in a physical sense anyway. You close your eyes for a brief moment and do what you must. That massive, fierce wave of fire erupting from your mouth turns the steel cabin into an absolute inferno. The stench hits the back of your throat instantly, burning your lungs. This isn't like burning wood. The sickening combination of charred hair, melting plastic, and roasting human flesh makes your stomach violently churn. You're on the verge of throwing up, dry heaving. As the flame on your tail flares hotter, the plastic piles inside the chamber begin to shrink and shrivel. You can hear the horrific sound of skulls cracking under the heat. You watch as gold dental fillings melt away, trickling through the settling bone ash. Within minutes, nothing remains but a sludge-colored liquid and gray powder. The man nods with quiet approval. He tosses a small, crisp stack of $100 bills at your feet. "Good work," he mutters. 7 more bags are on the way. 2 months go by. You're now the permanent employee of this underground graveyard. The skin beneath your orange scales has begun to crack from the relentless exposure to toxic chemical fumes and blistering heat. The The fire from your own tail is starting to scorch your own flesh, but you don't have the luxury of stopping. Every day, the same godforsaken routine. At midnight, a burner phone rings. A new address is dropped. Sometimes it's an abandoned hangar. Other times, a pitch-black clearing deep in the woods. But the steel cabin is always the same. The cartel treats you well, or at least, they make sure you think they do. They feed you high-calorie protein blends. They install heavy-duty industrial heaters in your hideout just to keep your tail active. But you aren't fooled. You know that, like everyone else in this room, you're just a tool. But slowly, you adapt to the rhythm. The blood money starts piling up. The greasy brown envelopes Blue hands you are multiplying inside the rusty generator box in your hideout. And just as the cash grows, the cartel's enemies vanish. You are no longer a helpless, abandoned Pokémon. You are the most flawless, loyal, and lethal ghost in a massive criminal empire. You leave behind no DNA, no fingerprints, no trace of tissue for forensics to analyze, but it's never that simple. The entire country is gripped by the sudden disappearances of high-profile elites and mafia figures. It's all the police talk about. Every time a distant siren wails, your entire body freezes. Officer Jenny haunts your nightmares night after night, waking up gasping for air with a flame knotted in your throat. That's just your morning routine now. 2 more months pass. The bad dreams don't fade, but your money keeps piling up. That ancient fire on your tail is no longer a pitiful, dying spark. Now it burns fierce and wild. You've become the cartel's one truly unrivaled asset. Top executives bow down to you now, bringing you the freshest cuts of beef and the priciest protein supplements. Even Blue consults you, waiting for your final say on business moves. Or at least that's how it seems. On a cool Tuesday night in your 4th month, you crack open the generator box for the first time in a week. Using those same lethal claws, you meticulously count the stained, crumpled bills. Hundreds, 50s, 20s, the grand total? Exactly $82,300. You did it. You've scraped together every single cent for that damn fake passport. The next night, you arrange a meeting with the contacts who can forge the fake passport. They take your details, snap your photo, and you hand over half the cash. A week later, you meet again. No hitches, no complications. You hand over the rest of the money, and in return, you finally hold it in your hands. That shiny, digitally chipped, counterfeit trainer passport. Right there on the photo page is your own imposing reflection. Beneath it, a fake name reads, Arthur Vance. On paper, you finally have a legitimate identity in this world. For the first time in months, a faint smile creeps onto your face. A tired, but deeply sincere smile. You are finally free. By tomorrow morning, you can leave this wretched city behind forever. Walk into those luxurious Pokémon centers with your head held high and live out the rest of your days in a peaceful retirement. At least, that was the flawless plan you had built in your head. You were already set to meet Blue anyway. When you step up to him, you hold your head high and say, I'm out. I've made enough. Blue crushes out the cigarette, looks at the table, then looks right at you. All right, he says, this should bother you. It doesn't. You head toward the exit, toward your freedom. Just like always, 2 cartel guards are waiting at the door. 2 floors down, one of them mutters. The entry and exit points constantly change. You know the drill. This time it's the very bottom floor of the facility. A corridor you've never set foot in before. Yet your steps keep the exact same rhythm, carrying that same unshakable confidence. There is only a single door. One of the guards presses a button on a remote and the automatic door slides open. You step outside, or at least you think you do, until you realize you've just walked into a dead empty room, its walls entirely lined with graphite. The door shuts behind you. You hear the sound, the sheer mass of that door, the heavy clunk of the lock snapping into place. You don't say a word, not even to yourself, but the flame on your tail, purely on reflex, flares just a single degree brighter. You look up. There are holes in the ceiling. Your nostrils flare, stretching almost as wide as those vents. Your jaw is clenched so tight your teeth are about to shatter. You don't even realize it. You fill your lungs to the absolute brim, and you unleash that 2,000-degree hell burning inside you, straight at the door. The room is bathed in a blinding crimson. The roar is deafening. 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Your breath gives out. The flames die down. The smoke clears. Not a single scratch. The door is solid graphite, that industrial-grade insulation built to withstand 4,000 degrees. The roar of the flames inside the room slowly dies down. The heavy graphite bolt in the center of the door slides open. Behind the narrow peephole stands Blue. Not a single muscle on his face twitches. He's just watching, exactly as if he were checking the gauge on a piece of industrial machinery. A thick purple gas begins to seep from the vents above. You know this gas. It's used to sedate wild Pokémon. And this is a highly concentrated dose. Your joints go numb. Your wings slump. You drop to your knees, first the left, then the right. As you collapse to the ground, the fake passport you clutched so tightly in your palm slips through your claws. It hits the cold floor. The imposing face in the photograph stares blankly up at the ceiling. The name beneath it is still legible. Arthur Vance. When you finally open your eyes, there is a heavy titanium collar around your neck. A pipe system has been integrated just behind your tail, drilled right beneath your scales. You can no longer extinguish your flame. The system constantly feeds it, constantly ignites you. New bags drop into the steel cabin in front of you, fed by an automated conveyor belt from above. You couldn't stop even if you wanted to. Sometimes you think about the stadiums, but those memories don't linger for long anymore. A new bag drops, the conveyor mechanism clicks, your mouth opens.